Today on Let's Fish TV, I'm visiting a place that I haven't been into in a long time, and that's Lake Somerville near College Station. It's located in Central Texas, and one thing this place has is a lot of big bass. Now granted, we're fishing in the dog days of summer. It's super hot, but I'm going to show you exactly how to catch them today. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, check that out.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Cobia! Big one. And a monster! Look at that!
That's a Tawakoni giant.
This is Let's Fish.
Welcome to Let's Fish TV. I'm your host, Andrew Upshaw, and today we are at Lake Somerville. Lake Somerville is located just outside of College Station and just north of Brenham, Texas. It is a place that is really special and near and dear to my heart, as one of my biggest college fishing wins came here, catching a really big bag of bass. Maybe we'll be able to duplicate it today, but I'm gonna tell you, it's the dog days of summer, 100, 105 degrees. It's gonna be a tough day, but I'm gonna show you exactly how to catch them with a variety of baits. We'll also have this week's fishing report from your local region from our insider reporters. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this Bass Cat Mercury launch, get everything set up. We'll toss it back to the studio for your weekend planner.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Let's Fish. The Salooner tables are predicting fair game fish activity both days this weekend. Peak activity begins around 7:22 Saturday and 8:23 Sunday morning. Nighttime action will begin around 7:58 on Saturday and 8:58 on Sunday night. Depending on your area, expect the sun to rise around 7:18 and set around 7:24. Nights will feature a moon that is 58% visible this weekend. Stick around, we've got fishing reports from across the area on the way. Plus, I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Kyle Welcher to answer this week's Ask the Pro question.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to head out on Somerville today. It's supposed to hit 105, 106 degrees. It's gonna be one of those scorching days. Two things before we get going. When you're out here on the water, I don't care if it's the summertime, the wintertime, and everywhere else in between, wear your life jacket while you're running. I know I have mine on, have my kill switch attached. You never know when an accident might happen, so make sure you have it on. I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to go catch some fish on Somerville. This place has some big fish. I know it's gonna be tough today. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the fishing's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to target and catch bass when it's 105 degrees outside. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all see exactly what I'm talking about. When you're breaking down a dock, one of the most important things you can do is fish down the edges of the dock. And what I mean by that is you want to parallel each side of the dock. So I'm throwing off the face of the dock here, and I'm just dragging my worm all the way down the face. So if any of those fish are hanging right up under the front edge or the back edge of this dock, they're gonna come out and eat that worm. I got one. There we go. Not a bad little fish. There we go. Sitting there eyeballing a snake. And this one came up there and decided it wanted to play. There we go. First bass of the day, not a giant. Guys, today we're at a place that has a lot of meaning to me, and that's Lake Somerville. Lake Somerville's down just about 40 minutes south of College Station, and just outside of Brenham, Texas. And I'm gonna tell you, this place is pretty special to me for a couple reasons. My buddy and I won a college regional. You know, this was a tournament back over a decade ago, and it was our first time here, and we caught a large number of big bass in that particular event. It was so much fun. I have not been back to this lake since, and I you know, the whole time, I'm like, you know what? I've got to come back here. I've got to come experience this place again. Not the fish I'm looking for yet, but I'm gonna tell you guys, this place is loaded with big bass, and we're gonna see if we can catch them here today. That one fell victim to the drop shot with the Strike King filler worm, but we're gonna break down all that stuff here in just a little while. I'm gonna see if I can rig me up another worm and catch me another bass.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Holland Safes. Now Holland is a Texas company and they're trying to build the best safes you can buy. They offer up to 2 hours fire protection and they back that up with a fire and burglary protection warranty. So check them out online, find a dealer near you. Don't just be safe, be Holland Safe. Now this week we're going to start with some great news. Aside from the fact that it's fall, temperatures are cooling off, the water temps are cooling off, we have just found out that Squaw Creek has announced on their website they will be opening October 1st. Now the last time Squaw opened up, there was a huge demand for the few limited spots each day to go out and fish the lake. The first thing you're going to need to know is you need to get on the website and get a reservation in order to fish Squaw Creek. Secondly, get there early so you're one of the first anglers in line and you can get the prime spots. Now this time of year, we don't have to go up to the heated end of the power plant lake where the hot water's coming out. No, we want to fish that cooler water actually, and you'll want to start with your top waters. Then work your way down through the water column using your spinner baits and your bladed jigs and your generals. And finally, I'd have something on a Texas rig or maybe even a punch shad on a weighted hook to catch those Squaw Creek bass. Now over at Louisville, the crappie bite's on fire, and the easiest way to find the fish is to go to the bridge pilings. Those bridge pilings have cross members under the water. You can see them on your graph or you can just kind of guess about where they'll be. They're usually about 15 to 20 feet apart and there's 1 or 2 on each set of pilings. Drop your minnows down, drop your jigs down. When you get into the fish, you'll catch a bunch in one place on Louisville. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Oh, that's a good one there. Oh, stay on, baby. Changed up, went to the small crankbait, and sometimes that little bitty change is all you need. Went to that Strike King 1.0. I mean, a nice bass there. There we go. Got him right in the top. Not a bad little fish. Check that out, guys. Now that's a Somerville nice one right there. But I'm gonna talk a little bit about how we're catching them here today. You know, we're kind of junking it up a little bit, and that's what you gotta do in the dog days of summer. That's a nice fish. Let's get this fish back and we'll talk a little bit more about Somerville and exactly what we're doing here. One thing that I did there is I made a little change. Now I've been throwing a square bill crankbait a lot this morning. I started out with a KVD 1.5, then I went all the way to a 4.0 because I caught a real big gizzard shad. And then I started seeing some really tiny thread fins. And when I see that, especially in the fall time of the year like we're dealing with right now, that late summer, early fall, that little bitty Strike King 1.0 is the bait that I always turn to. It is a guaranteed fish catcher. And I'm not saying you're gonna go out there and catch 25 pounds on it. And believe me when I say I have done that with that little bitty crankbait before. But more so, it is a bait that's gonna get a lot of bites. And the more bites you can generate, especially this time of year, the bigger the fish are gonna be. And quite honestly, it can make one of those dog's days of summer, early fall days that seem terrible into a very productive day. So that is kind of my get out of jail free card a little bit, is that KVD 1.0. But what we're doing, especially here on Somerville, is we're fishing shallow. You know, this lake is traditionally not a very deep lake. It sits only about 11,000 acres and it fluctuates a lot. So a lot of times you're having to fish a rock, and in this situation we're actually fishing a seawall. But the average depth here is only like 5 to 6 foot. So these fish live shallow most of the time of the year. And that's when these little small crankbaits, a drop shot, a shaky head, all come into play. But I'm gonna tell you guys, if you get on your lake and it gets really, really hard this time of year, pick up that KVD 1.0. I throw 2 different colors. I throw Sexy Shad and I throw Chartreuse and Black. Keep it as basic as possible and you'll catch more fish. But I'm gonna get back to it. That was a nice one. I think we figured something out. We're gonna see y'all here in just a minute, hopefully reeling in a real big bass.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lake Hartwell Country. Catch the feeling. Lose, feel the difference. Mamba Boats, ride with pride. Strike King, tie one on. Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Oh, come here. Oh, got him. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Look at him. He doesn't have an eye on that side. There we go. Oh, that feels like a better one. Oh yeah, that's a good one there. There we go. The Ned rig strikes again. Oh, that's a really good one. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, oh. We're gonna take our time with this big one. There we go. That's a good one. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, come here, fish. God, he's got such a big mouth on him. Oh, come here. Oh, got him. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Look at him. He doesn't have an eye on that side. So I wonder, you know, I've caught bass like that before. Did he see my bait coming from this side or this side? I mean, I don't think he saw it on this side. But man, what a nice bass that is. You know, Somerville has really surprised me today. I've had to make a lot of adjustments, do a lot of different things to catch fish today. And we're gonna talk about that here in just a second, but let's get this fish back. It's the heat of summer. You don't wanna hold them out too long. I'm gonna throw this fish back and we'll talk a little bit more about Somerville and what we've done to catch our bass. Once again, it fell victim to the Strike King Ned Ocho. Throwing it up there, and I mean less than a foot of water, dragging it off. It got heavy, set the hook, caught it. I can't stress enough by paying attention to little details like that. As you can tell, it's dead slick calm. Made an adjustment, went from the crankbait to the Ned worm, catching bass. One little bit of information I'll give you, since you've made it this far in the show. If you want to get really good on a tough fishery, there's 3 things you need to look for that will help you catch more bass. First thing is, look for riprap. Second thing, boat ramps. Third thing, bridge pilings. If you look for those 3 things, you're gonna always find bass, especially this time of year. Fish love to push shad up and around those boat ramps, the riprap, and the bridge pilings. Today on Somerville, we didn't have any bridge pilings, so I went straight to riprap, straight to boat ramps when the fishing got tough and was able to catch some fish. But overall, guys, today has been a good day. Despite the 105-degree temps, despite being dead calm, it's been a fun day. It's been an eventful day, and I've learned. Every day I go fishing, I learn something, and I've learned stuff today, even now. You know, I was throwing that drop shot, but it was even just a little bit too big for what I was trying to do. Drop down in size that Ned worm has been game over ever since.
What's up, guys? Captain Taylor Burrell here with Wave National Charters for this week's fishing report. As you see right now, we're out here catching some vermilion snappers. They're about to pull one over the rail right now. Oh, never mind, that's a little red. They got some on the other side, looks like. Yep, there's a big one. But weather's been pretty good today. After this, we're probably going to try to go for some tuna, maybe some kingfish. Inshore, the speckled trout bite's been good and picking up. Redfish bite's been good too. The bull red runner's about to start kicking off in full swing. Probably the next little cold spell we get. And remember, guys, if you want to come fishing in Galveston, Texas, give us a holler. Tight lines.
Another one. There we go. Just like that. Made a little change. Still catching some bass. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's a fat one. Look how fat that fish is. For a August bass, late August, September bass, that is a fat fish. Not a big one. I mean, but he's a keeper for sure. I mean, that'd be one that if you got in a bind, it'd be a good one to have. Change up to the Ned rig, and I kind of figured something out, guys. Let me tell you, it's all about those on the water clues. You know, you can go into any place and have preconceived notions. You know, I came into this particular day and I had these hopes of I'm gonna be able to go throw the crankbait the same way I did when me and my buddy Ryan Watkins won the event here. But we don't have that condition today. But one thing about it is these fish are this shallow right now, okay? They are dirt shallow, but they will not eat a moving bait. So what I'm having to do is take this Ned rig and I'm literally throwing it up on the bank, okay? I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm doing. You're throwing it up on the bank, letting it go down the bottom, and you're just tightening up and you're dragging it through those rocks as slow as you can. 10-pound braid is necessary to an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, and really just dragging it slow. And every once in a while you're gonna snag up. But if you drag that thing slow, you throw it in the exact same place as you throw a square bill, you'll have a lot of success. But we figured something out. We're gonna go run with it a little while and see if we can catch a big one.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, the ultimate fishing system, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan or book your fishing charter at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor, powered by Passion. Glacier outdoors since 1982.
That feels like another decent one. On the Ned. Yep, there we go. It's another nice one. There we go. That feels like another decent one. On the Ned. Yep, there we go. It's another nice one. Not a big one, but when you're talking August, it's all about figuring out how to generate bites. And that's exactly what we've done today, is figure out how to generate bites. The Ned worm has definitely come in clutch. Like I said, it's not a giant by any means, but a nice fish. Golly, they fight hard. I mean, it's 105 out here, guys. And the fish are biting. I mean, not giants. I mean, like there's places in Texas that you can go and catch 6 and 7 pounders and all that stuff. And everybody's gonna talk about it. But there's something else about just going fishing. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm literally just going around, casting my little Ned worm to the bank, something that any one of you could do in catching fish. You know, something else that I do want to note is the color of the Strike King Ned Ocho that I'm throwing. This is a green pumpkin, but as you can tell, it has chartreuse tail on it. So, okay, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret that will help you catch fish. For years, I used another brand that has that Elastec type formula, but you can't dye the tail. Well, when I first started fishing Ned worms, and I mean years and years ago, before they were super popular, I was just cutting down stick worms, and I'd always dye the tail, and I always caught 5 times more fish than I would if I just threw it regularly. Something about that chartreuse tail, that contrast in the water, will get you more bites, and that's why I just turned to the Ned Ocho more times than not, because I'm going to get those extra bites by being able to dye the tail chartreuse. Sometimes I dye it orange, but most of the time it's chartreuse. But that little tip, that little bluegill matching tip right there, it'll get you a lot of extra bites. So try it out. If you get a chance, you'll be glad you did. I'm gonna get back out there and see if we can catch a few more before the end of the day. It's getting pretty hot out here, and I'm getting a little miserable. So, and so is my cameraman.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Louisiana Outdoor Report, coming to you from Hackberry, Louisiana at Cajun Paradise Charters. Tell you what, we're going to start off right here on Lake Calcasieu in Hackberry talking about saltwater fishing. Tell you what, we're in a early fall, late summer pattern. Lots of speckled trout getting caught, lots of redfish. The redfish are still deep. Trout are starting to move up out of that deeper water, getting on them shell beds in 4 to 6 foot of water. Tell you what, live shrimp under a popping cork key there. For Toledo Bend now, for the bass scene, lots of bass getting caught early and late. These temperatures are starting to cool down a little bit. The bass are getting active. During the midday, lots of schooling bass getting caught on 1/4 and 1/2 ounce rattle traps and big old slab spoons. I'll tell you what, for old Cajun Phil, Captain Kevin Broussard saying happy fishing. May God bless, and we're going to see y'all right here next week.
That one is a better one. Oh yeah, that's a good one there. Off this spot right here with the drop shot. 3 casts, 3 bass, not a giant fish. Oh, there's one, a catfish. Look at that. Just proves that little square bill, everything eats it. Ah, there we go. Now that's how you want to hold a catfish. The only problem with this is this catfish is pretty wide, so just being able to grip it is not the easiest. There's a good one. Made a little change. Went to a Ned rig. Caught a bass. There we go. Ooh, not in a bad little, look at that little shad he just spit up. Not a bad little bass for the dog days of summer. Catch me back at the boat ramp here in just a minute, and we'll talk to you about exactly what baits you need if you come to Lake Somerville.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Visit Mississippi. Wanderers welcome. Powerful. Total boat control. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy duty mounts for your fish finders. Rely on. Challenge your limits.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right on over to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Lee would like to know, what is your pre-tournament ritual? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Kyle Welcher.
All right, what's going on? Kyle Welcher, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. The question I got is, what is my pre-tournament ritual? My number one thing is I like to eat healthy the night before, during practice, the morning of the tournament, everything like that. I like to eat extremely healthy, and I also like to wake up in the morning and exercise, get my blood pumping for about 15 minutes. And I feel like it just makes you be a little more calmer and a little bit more ready for the day. So my ritual is eating healthy and exercising.
Thank you so much, Kyle. If you have a question and want some help from one of the pros as well, all you have to do is go to letsfishtv.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Today on Academy Right Stuff, I used 3 different baits to catch my fish. I started out the day with a drop shot, and this is the Strike King filler worm. It's a 6-inch worm, little 1/0 hook, 12-pound Strike King contra fluorocarbon. And I was fishing this thing around docks. I caught quite a few fish around docks with this, and honestly, it's so easy to flip in and around those docks with a drop shot. And when the fishing is tough, it is a guaranteed fish catcher. Well, as the day went on, kind of made a few changes. Started throwing a crankbait, and the reason I started throwing a crankbait was because I saw shad, but not just any shad. I started seeing these little bitty shad, about 1.5 inches long. So that's why I went to the Strike King 1.0. It's the smallest square bill that we make, chartreuse and black in color. And I was just throwing on a square bill crankbait rod by Lew's, 15-pound Strike King contra fluorocarbon and a 7:5 gear ratio Lew's custom speed spool. But I'm gonna tell you, the best bait of the day, the saving grace, the one that I can turn to when the fishing is the toughest that it ever can be, is a Ned rig. And not just any Ned rig. This is an 1/8 ounce Strike King tour grade Ned head with a Strike King. This is a Ned Ocho, green pumpkin in color. And remember, that dyed tail chartreuse is such a big key. Don't ever forget that, and don't tell your friends. Make them watch the show. 10-pound fluorocarbon to an 8-pound Strike King fluorocarbon leader. And I was using that on a 7.2. This is a medium power. This is actually Mark Zona's rod. It is one of the best Lew's rods that I've ever used. I use it for a ton of different techniques. Actually, I deem it my active target, my Lowrance active target rod, because it has such a soft tip, and I can fish 4 fish specifically and not pull the bait away. But today, I didn't use active target once. I was just fishing old school, downsized my baits, and caught a lot of bass. I hope y'all learned a little bit about Somerville, how to catch fish when it's 105 degrees outside. But guys, I'm getting ready to head in. Super hot. I need some AC. And until next time, I'll see you on the water.